Hi there, welcome back to Save with Crypto. A little bit of a different thing here. Do you know who this guy is? This guy is Nick Nimmin. I met him in 2019 in Chiang Mai in Thailand. I was at a conference. It was an SEO conference run by Matt Diggerty, who's a friend of mine. And it was really, really good. Now, Nick Nimmin here, he did a talk about using YouTube to promote your products and services and things. And I must admit, at the time, I actually thought, that looks pretty interesting, actually. And I didn't really do anything about it for like another year or so. And then 2020, I started putting some stuff on YouTube and eventually, created the Save with Crypto YouTube channel. Now, Nick and his brother Dee, they do a kind of like a clinic every Saturday afternoon about growing a YouTube channel. So I thought what I'd do was I'd fill in their form and ask them for some advice about this channel. It got answered, and I'm really pleased about it. So many thanks to Nick and Dee for looking at this, and I accept your criticism, and I will certainly take on board the things you said. So let's have a listen to what they said.
So next up, we have Save with Crypto. Save with Crypto, they do daily content. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. They do crypto trading and crypto how-tos. The goal of the channel is to make money. Figured that with the crypto channel, right? And the question is, my subscribers are great, but I find it hard to attract new subscribers. How can I improve that? And also, another question here says, is being an older YouTuber a disadvantage or an advantage? So it doesn't matter. So, if you're an older content creator, people can still respond to you in the same way they respond to others. So, there's a lot of older content creators on YouTube. And
I think being an older creator is a superpower.
Yeah, there's some wisdom built into it.
There's some wisdom built into that.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're generally going to appeal to an older demographic for a lot of the niches, which means
you don't have to be all super like over hypey and crazy
which
editing.
Which means you
and, like,
technically might make more money with ad revenue.
Yep.
Technically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on this one, the question again, was subscribers are great, but I find it hard to attract new subscribers. So when it comes to new subscribers, people are going to subscribe based on the value that you're getting from your content, of course. And when it comes to that, as you get more views, then you'll start increasing your subscriber counts too. So like right here, like I'm looking at your views recently. We're looking at like 100 views a video, over the last like 10 days. Some of them went over that, a little bit, but, it's kind of, if we were to average everything out, around that area. So because of that, just think it's scale, right? Like I don't have a lot of people interacting with them right now. So because of that, I can't really expect much on the return yet. And, just make sure that you are thinking, scale wise there. But like right now, one thing that I would be doing is you're publishing a lot, 5 days ago, 4 days ago, 2 days ago, 2 hours ago. This video recently is about Bitcoin plummeting to 57K. And then you have, I think that's the only one. Yeah, well, it bounced soon. So that was 5 days ago. So yeah, I would be trying to ride this, the whole, Bitcoin drop right now. I'd be trying to ride that like crazy right now, with a crypto channel.
Yeah.
And you're doing the right thing on that particular video, your most recent one. Here, I'll pull it up real quick. On the most recent one for, having like the Bitcoin imagery in there to help them be able to identify it, showing the graph on here, all that stuff's good. But one thing I would stop doing, I mean, you can keep this in there if you want, but for your titles, I don't think you're adding any value at all by having the emojis in here. And it's probably taking you some time, too, to actually go and find those emojis and bring them in. But it's not really, adding much to what it is that you're offering, right? So instead, I would just make these just really easy to read. Instead of trying to have these emojis that I'm guessing you're using to capture attention, just use, what's here to capture attention. And you're already doing that here with, like, the Bitcoin logo. And with all of these, I would be putting, Bitcoin imagery in every video that you publish, or at least whatever coins it is that you're talking about. I would make sure that you're putting the imagery, kind of like how you have this tap card right here, right? Same thing there. You're just putting a big focus on that imagery to help people that are interested in Bitcoin be able to identify that this has something to do with Bitcoin at a glance. And even here, like 57.5K or lower question mark, and then you have Bitcoin there. I think that's okay. But is Bitcoin over, or is Bitcoin dead, or something like that is a much more compelling, thing to grab attention compared to 57.5K or lower. Even little details like this, like you have 57.5K, and I'm getting into like nuanced stuff here, but like 57.5K from a readability standpoint is a little bit more difficult to go through than just rounding it to 58 or 57, right? So it's just complicating that just a little bit in terms of people being able to, capture everything they need at a glance, right? So I would just work on that type of stuff. And even here, my ban is lifted. So if this is a ban for a, this exchange or whatever, then same thing here is I would, just think of, logos, things like that, that's going to help people, identify it. Collecting my rewards from exchange or not, and then I was banned. Yeah, this is also like a lot about you, right? Like you're collecting your rewards from exchange, then you were banned. My, ban was lifted, but what about, XMEX and XMEX? So yeah, like I would also try to make this more about the viewer, right? So like, like this place banned me. Here's why, so you don't get banned. Right. So then you start making the videos more about the viewer. I would start doing that kind of stuff too, in order to just kind of, try to raise your floor up a little bit. But yeah, when it comes to this stuff, especially with what it is that you're doing, like in crypto, like just leverage the imagery hard. Like if you go and you look at other big crypto channels, you're going to see that. You're going to see that, most of them, they got, Bitcoin logos or, whatever coin it is. They have, the logos, in the thumbnails, all that. All the imagery is just focused on that. They're really enticing with, the way they're packaging stuff like, Bitcoin, is Bitcoin dead and, things like that, or will Bitcoin recover? Those types of things are a little bit more clear and easy to ingest than 57.5K or lower, as an example. So I'd work on that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, I think that's brilliant, and I'm very, very grateful to Nick for doing that, Nick and Dee. That's really, really good. So yeah, don't be surprised if from like, in the future you see things like, Bitcoin is dead, or, Bitcoin to 200K, that kind of thing. But yeah, some interesting points you made there, and that little emoji thing, I think, yeah, it's something I saw somebody else do as a routine, advice for his staff, and I used to think, does that really add benefit? And I like the idea of just, making the benefit the actual thumbnail and the title, and that, that's it really. So yeah, do expect that. Okay, well, here we go. Let's try and get to well, I'd love to say 100K, but let's try and get to 10K. So above all, tell your friends.